So my point in going through chapter 1 in a bit of detail is that it highlights how I teach content within its context. The first chapter is a little bit unusual in that it presents the research of one person, but Ecology in Action actually has 4 such chapters. At the end of part 2, I present the research of Bernd Heinrich on ecology and adaptation. And here you can see a sketch that Heinrich made of his ravens doing battle with some coyotes over a carcass. At the end of part 3, I present the research of Jane Goodall and Ann Pusey on the world-famous chimpanzees of Gombe. At the end of the 4th part of the book, which is on communities, I discuss the research of Dan Jansen and Winnie Hallwax on the communities that exist within Costa Rica rainforests and their efforts to bring about the restoration of these communities. And lastly, at the end of part 5 on ecosystem and global ecology, I present Jane Lubchenco's research on intertidal marine organisms and the research ultimately she ended up doing, becoming the director of NOAA. And in that position, she had to deal with the fallout, the environmental fallout from the explosion of the Deepwater Horizon oil rig. I had the pleasure of interviewing each of these people in person. They all had just wonderful and exciting stories to tell. And all of the research that they'd done, in addition to presenting important content material, also had a lot to say about the processes of doing ecology. So how do ecologists come up with their questions? How are these questions evaluated by the scientific community? Where do they go for funding? And how do these researchers work on different levels of the biological hierarchy?